Hey, Marc Warnke here. They call me the goat guy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about goats as well, but homesteading in general. And that's how to protect your ranch, farm, or area and your stock animals from predators. Coyotes, wolves, bears, cougars, bobcats. I got them all here. I live on mule deer wintering range. In fact, there's some mule deer bedded up at the top of the ridge right now. And this is a major migration corridor, and this is where all the mule deer come down and the elk to winter. So when you congregate game animals or prey animals, then you're also going to congregate predators. So last year we had a cougar kill a mule deer right down here below our field, and then there was a bear on it the next day. So we got them all. And so I feel like I have kind of an authoritative place that I can speak to you about how to protect your goats or your stock animals from predators. So we have decided when we moved here, after all the debate, and I'm going to talk about the different ways you can do it, but we decided on a livestock guardian dog. And livestock guardian dogs, I'm so glad I went that direction. We have two of them. They're Anatolian Shepherds. They're super friendly with our guests. We trained them through how we handle them not to be human aggressive at all. But man, you don't want to get your dog out of your car on my ranch because he will get attacked. Our dogs do a tremendous job. They leave the chickens alone, they leave the cats alone, but they protect our area. And you should know, my strategy is, what I do is I have my livestock guardian dogs in my lower 3 acres where all my animals are every night. And I decided to do it that way because my property is 44 acres, including this mountain, and to try to keep a livestock guardian dog in 44 acres on mountainous property with creeks, I think is almost virtually impossible. And we tried lots of different ways. We tried to give them the whole run of the property, and especially Storm and livestock guardian dogs notoriously are escape artists. And he is a weasel. He can get under fences, he can get through fences. Rain, the female, she can get through fences. So we decided to contain the area that we could contain the best, which is where we house all our animals all night long. And then we still let them forage, we let them do their thing during the days. We don't worry about predator control off on the other parts of the property, but we bring all the animals in here where the livestock guardian dogs can protect them at night. Now, if you're new to livestock guardian dogs, 90% of the protecting that they do is with their bark. They range the property every night, they bark, and they are barkers. They will bark sometimes 5 hours a night. So if you don't want to listen to a barking dog, you don't want a livestock guardian dog. Or if you got neighbors that are going to create a problem, you don't want livestock guardian dogs. They bark and they're loud. We sleep with sound machines next to our bed so that we don't get woken up by their barking. It's a deal, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. They eat a lot of food. They're a big dog. They don't have a very big lifespan. And I think you need to treat owning a livestock guardian dog, honestly, almost like you would treat a pit bull. You cannot let them get off your property and go kill your neighbor's dog, because they will. They are vicious when it comes to that other stuff. So that's how we decided to do it. Now, if you cross livestock guardian dog off your list of possibilities, which I think is the #1 and best possibility to protect your livestock, #2 is a good fencing strategy and a closed-in barn strategy. So if you have goats, which are going to be more predominant towards predation because things like coyotes and that sort of thing will get brave enough to take down a goat, then you're going to have to either lock them up at night, so they're going to have to enter a barn, have a closed area that they stay in that you keep predator controlled, and that's where they stay at night. 95%, 98% of the problems I hear about in the goat community and in that world all happen at night. So you need a night strategy. So as long as you can control the night with a locked-in facility where predators can't get into, you're going to be fine. Now you're hamstrung to having to let animals in and out every morning and every evening, which is an extra chore, but that's a way you can do it without livestock guardian dogs. Now, if you don't want to do that, there's a secondary strategy of using electric fencing on the outside. And you're trying to keep animals from coming into the property with the use of high voltage electricity. So like bull fencing and like the stuff that really lets them have it. And you put a bottom layer You put a mid layer and you put a top layer, and a lot of times things like cougars and animals that can jump really high, you have to even put another higher layer. So for me, once I investigated the fencing strategy and also my experience throughout my lifetime with electricity working sometimes, not working sometimes, electric fences are down about 20 to 30% of the time because a stick falls across them, or it touches the pole, or one of the insulators gets broken. They're kind of a constant maintenance scenario. So to rely on electricity for your predator control and all the different levels and hoping they wouldn't jump and they'd see the wire and all that different stuff, but it for me, that never felt fail safe enough for me to be able to settle in and know that that was going to work. So in my opinion, the two best strategies, livestock guardian dogs or locking your animals up at night in a closed container that predators can't get to, are going to be the best way. So I hope that gives you some things to think about. There are great people in the community that have solved this problem in other areas. And so if you're somebody who's solved this problem in your area with something that I didn't speak about, or can speak about the fencing strategy, please feel free and put that in the comments. I never tried to go down that route. The other thing I want to mention, by the way, is that livestock guardian dogs can be kept in with electric collars, and I investigated that as well. So let me give you a little information as you go down that trail. You can get satellite tracking, GPS-oriented electric collars where you actually walk your perimeter, and as they approach that perimeter, they get a beep, and if they try to go across that perimeter, they get shocked. Now, I can tell you with livestock guardian dogs, they are super gentle. You cannot reprimand their heavy. You cannot be a heavy-handed owner. They are a cowering to be reprimanded style dog. And so they, I know, will respect the shock part of that training. The problem is those collars are freaking expensive. They're like $1,000, and you have to like subscribe to a service, and the battery power is not enough to keep those things juiced up for more than just a couple of days. Now, it was 3-4 years ago when I investigated that, so they may have gotten cheaper and better in technology, so my numbers are probably inaccurate and the time is inaccurate. But when I started going down that to try to contain my livestock guardian dogs and let them have the run of the property, I just crossed it off the list because the battery power wasn't enough, and because it was just too darn expensive to try to go down that route. So I hope you find that helpful as you try to strategize on your homestead about predators and protecting your stock animals. I'm Marc Warnke. You can find me on PackGoats.com. My ranch is RippleRanchIdaho.com. Please subscribe. I help people raise goats. So if you want to learn how to raise goats, we got courses on learning how to all facets of raising goats, and I hope you find this video helpful. Marc Warnke, the Goat Guy, signing out.